time to get started. Y'all got 3 minutes for this exciting event for the Dream Center. Tonight, we are coming to you live virtually from all over Peoria. Churches, Illinois Cancer Center, outside at Keller Station, businesses, families everywhere are leaning in to help the Dream Center and to share a little bit about the Dream Center. We also have a speaker this evening that is dynamic, who's filled with love and has a great story to tell. And he's actually maybe my wife's second favorite Bob, because of course I'm the favorite Bob. Talk a little bit about Bob Goff.
What about Bob? Let me tell you, he is an amazing guy. He's an author, he's a speaker, he's actually a lawyer. Didn't know if you knew that. He has written many books. His most current book is called Dream Big, and that's what he's going to talk about tonight. He has traveled the world spreading his message of awesomeness, asking people to send love out into the world, but also to receive love back. It is such an amazing message. He has this amazing, infectious smile and laughter that it just sucks you right in, and you just want to go up and give the guy a big hug. So anyway, hang in there. You're going to love him. He has so much love to spread and send out into the world. So hang in there and wait for him.
We're going to go inside and talk a little bit about the Dream Center at Style Studio Fitness. Come on in. So the Dream Center has raised $75,000 going into this evening, and our goal is to raise $250,000. So sometime during the evening, I need you to go to dreamcenterpeoria.org /give to make a donation. You got to understand, the Dream Center leans into things in this community that many people don't want to or don't know how to lean into. They see a need, they meet a need, whether it's their homeless shelter or what they do for students in Peoria Public Schools with their after-school program. When COVID hit, they brought technology right to the homes where people needed Wi-Fi in order to do the virtual learning. So tonight is about the Dream Center. Tonight is about inspiring you in our community to do great things. And one thing I want you to do before we get started, we got about 30 seconds, grab an airplane and a sheet of paper. Wait, grab a sheet of paper because you're going to make a paper airplane and follow me. Let's go. So, are y'all ready to get started? We have 10 seconds. No, wait. We have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
We all have a dream. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Some are big, like saving the earth, and some are personal, like wanting to be a unicorn. And sometimes it's as simple as wanting a safe place.
in 2020, and your giving made a huge difference throughout Peoria. So here's a glimpse into what you did. We ended 2019 strong with the opening of our newly renovated, state-of-the-art 24/7 homeless shelter, which each night we now see 60 to 100 of our homeless guests make their way to a warm, safe, and comfortable place. In the year, we served over 70,000 meals throughout all of our programs. Early February, we started meeting needs in the near North Valley, door to door, through Here for Good. And in late March, we saw hundreds of young ladies receive a free prom dress and accessories as volunteers poured out love and promise of hope. And then COVID hit and plans changed, but we were able to pivot and step into meeting needs like never before. The people we served faced new challenges and different needs appeared. But like Dream Center fashion, we heard the needs and we stepped right into them. We mobilized our youth department and volunteers into the homes of students as we brought meals and virtual school to students who would normally be struggling. We heard of families struggling to put food on the table, so we created food drop-off locations throughout the Peoria area, and you showed up. We were able to bless thousands of families with bags of groceries in their time of need. As public restrooms and local hygiene facilities all closed, we saw the homeless men in our city finding no place to shower. So we cleaned up the showers in our basement, and each week we partnered with Jolt Street Team and Zion Coffee so that we worked together to shower, feed, clothe, and even give haircuts to over 30 men each week. Backpack Peoria looked very different this year, but through our drive-through Backpack Peoria event, we still gave over 2,000 backpacks loaded with school supplies and uniforms. During the summer, after some restrictions had been lifted, we welcomed 50 students to our revised summer learning program. The Job Skills program also continued as best as we could, with students fixing lawnmowers, building sheds, and even creating wooden American flag ornaments. And once the school session kicked back in the fall, we continued to do school virtually for over 50 students. 2020 challenged us all, but Dream Center Peoria, with your help, continued to impact families living in poverty right here in the Peoria area. When you give of your time, your talent, and treasure, this is what happens. We make a difference together.
It's amazing how high a dream can fly. With just the right amount of love, support, and attention. That's what Dream Center is all about, turning dreams into reality.
Good evening to Dream 2020. We want to welcome you here at Northwoods and also throughout Central Illinois. Like it was said earlier, we have 50 sites and over 1,200 people throughout the area tuning in through YouTube and Facebook. My name is Andy. I'm the Executive Director of Dream Center Peoria. And this, isn't he a good-looking man? This is Brian.
Yeah, thanks. Boy, it's become so clear leading up to tonight how timely this theme of Dream Beyond Now is and how important our dreams are, right? When we're talking about dreams, we're talking about our cherished ambitions, our aspirations, and our ideals. And why we're so excited tonight at Dream Center for this theme is because we're a place that says we turn dreams into reality. And tonight we really get to do two things. One, tonight is about you. It's about inspiring you to pick back up those God-given dreams that maybe for whatever reason you have set down in 2020. But tonight is also a night to rally around the dreams of kids and families who are living in poverty. and help them take the next step into their dreams. Truly, more than ever maybe, we are all in the same place tonight, and it is so clear, and there's so much confidence that we can have knowing that we're in this together. So there's a very tangible part to our dream of rallying around kids and families. Tonight, our goal is to raise $250,000. This is our annual gathering. This is the one time when we really gather all of our friends, believing that that the needs for the next year will be met. So we have a $250,000 goal. We're going to track our progress towards that tonight, and I am excited to announce that going in tonight, thanks to our sponsors, so anybody who's hosting one of our 50 sites, $80,000 has already been raised towards that goal, which is just awesome. Hats off and a huge thank you to our sponsors. But you have a chance to join in that. And you can start doing that right now. If you want to make a gift, maybe it's the $10 you would have paid for dinner, maybe it's $50, maybe it's $500, $10,000, whatever. Time and time again when we gather, the need is met. So you can go on and make a donation right now, going to dreamcenterpeoria.org/give, and we will track our progress. So start doing that now. Another thing that you can do right now is take a moment and share this on social media. Or maybe text a couple friends. If you can think of, and those right here at Northwoods do the same thing. If you can think of one or two people that could use some inspiration, some help to pick back up their God-given dreams, why don't you text them a link to the website, dreamcenterpeoria.org/dream2020. The last thing you can do is that if you're watching this on Facebook Live or YouTube, we are manning and managing the chat room. So if you've got a question about volunteering at Dream Center, if you want to share your dreams with us, please put that in the chat and we'll interact with you tonight. So we're looking forward to that. With that, Andy, let's go ahead and let's just kick the night off in prayer. If you would join us for a moment of prayer. God, I just thank you for the group that you have gathered, Lord. And I thank you for your good and perfect love for each person with us. God, I ask tonight that as we delight ourselves in you, Lord, as we celebrate what you are doing amongst us, that you would give us the desires of our heart, Lord. That your dreams would become our dreams, that literally, God, everyone with us tonight would walk away with your dreams, Lord, for our families, that we would walk away with your dreams, God, for our workplace and for our neighborhood and for our futures. God, I ask this all according to your will, that it would happen by your power and would be for your glory. Amen.
Amen. Well, as I mentioned, there are 1,100 people around this area, over 50 sites that are tuned in. I don't know if you knew this, but we normally are not meeting like this. COVID has messed us up a little bit this year, and yet we feel that this is right for what we are doing for this time in history. Normally, well, we actually had the Louisville Slugger Dome booked for tonight, where we were going to have 2,000 or 3,000 people out there and a speaker out there, but things changed, and that's okay. And so what we thought would be fun is if we go live to some of the sites right now to see who's tuned in, who's doing things. I see a few people I know here. I'm going to go straight to a fellow Englishman, I do believe. I do see Dave Jane is in the house. Dave, can you hear me? Dave, can you hear me?
He's looking good, that's for sure.
Dave, can you hear me?
So I can't actually hear you right now, so I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Dave, how are you doing?
We're here at Connect Church, and Brian's nodding emphatically, so that's great news. We are in Connect Church here in Washington. Got about 75, 80 people having a fantastic time. Great to be with you guys tonight.
Thanks, Dave. Well, let's check in with someone else. Brian?
Yeah, let's see. Do we have, I see Bob Lindsay Honda. Jody Lindsay, can we pull her up? I see the whole Bob Lindsay. Jody, who do you have gathered there with you tonight? Jody, can you hear us?
Unmuted.
Well, hey, I know that Bob Lindsay is live with us. This is awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's check in on another site.
All right, I'm trying to see. Is that John Vanny there up in the in the top left there at Grace Presbyterian in the house. I think they're asleep out there. Oh, there's John. John, are you there? You able to tune in? It looks like he's got a side view, but that's all right. That's
check him with one last sight here.
Yeah, let's go for another site.
O'Brien Steele. I don't see which one you are. Is O'Brien Steele there? Christine Landis. I know that O'Brien Steele has got 80 employees gathered, which is just awesome.
Is that Keller Station down on the bottom there? No. Yeah, down there.
I think we're seeing O'Brien Steele is actually gathered in a tent. So that's what we're seeing is their tent, which is awesome. And then, Keller Station, Eric Scoville. Can you hear us? You want to chime in? Eric, where are you guys gathered at? We're not hearing them, but we know they're actually outside at a movie screen. This is the place to be.
Here in Connect Church, here in Washington.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good. All right, guys. Well, we thought that'd be fun. We thought technology was going to work with us. It did one way, but perhaps not the other way, but that's okay. But we just wanted to let you guys here also know that you're not on your own, that there are people throughout Central Illinois that are with us tonight. It's as I mentioned, we were meant to be at the Louisville Slugger Dome, and we actually were going to have Matthew Barnett with us, who is the guy who started Dream Centers in America from Los Angeles. Well, we want you to know that this time next year, next fall, we have already booked Matthew Barnett to come and be a part of our next year's end-of-year event, Dream 2021. We'll have Matthew Barnett with us. If you have never heard his story of how they started the LA Dream Center, just jump online. There is plenty of stories and videos on there that you can hear his testimony. It's incredible. They minister to around 50,000 people a week at the LA Dream Center. And so he will be here next year, which we're super excited about. But as I mentioned, this year COVID changed everything for us, but we were able to still meet needs like never before.
When I lived on 210 Richmond Avenue, they told me if I didn't take a shower every night or clean up by a time that they told me to, that they'd kick me out of the house, that I'd have to pack my bags and they kicked me out, and I couldn't take my clothes, I couldn't take my cat. So one night I went to the store and I come back and they had locked me out of the house.
Well, Barb came in February, basically, and she came in, she kept telling me, like, she was asking people for help. So I sat her down, got her information, got in with Kim, with KB. Kim released all her money to us. We went and got Barb her apartment, furnished it, got her in good, food, and Barb is my buddy. Like, we go everywhere basically now together. She's more than actually a friend, she's my new family member.
I'm happy that I have my own place. I got food, I got a roof overhead, and I got my medicine like they told me to take, and I'm doing good. I read my Bible, I read my books, and then she'll come and get me on certain days, and we have a lot of fun. Sometimes I wrestle, sometimes I don't. I pick on her, I pick on Quinn. We are all good people.
I take her to the park, we go shopping, get her hair done, meds. I just keep her on my side because, like I said, Barb did have a rough time.
I like her attitude, and I like the way she talks to me, and I like Quinn the way he talks to me, and I like the kids. I really love the whole family, and they're nice to me. They treat me nice. I have more fun with them, with being family, than I do anything else. I enjoy it. My next dream would be to get a companion so I can have somebody that I'm comfortable to talk to.
My dream for Barb is like she said, find her a companion that understands her, that's gonna treat her right, and to help her get her GED. That's our goal, is to get that GED and to make sure that she's comfortable as possible. The biggest change I've seen in Barb is her smile. she smiled more. Like I said, when she came up here, it was the stress, you can tell on anybody. But yeah, it was her smile. Here she was, but now it's constantly smiling and she's happy.
I like being at the Dream Center. I had a lot of friends. They're like my family to me.
As you can imagine, during this year, being able to adapt to many different challenges that the Dream Center had, but also being able to serve people, serve our homeless guests as best as we could, that was a priority for us. And as you heard in that, one of our staff members went above and beyond to help. And I just want to give a shout out to our staff, our volunteers who in this last 6 months or so have had to do things that they normally wouldn't do. Obviously, running a homeless shelter in the middle of a pandemic is not an easy thing. And our staff have stepped up. They've done an incredible job in being able to really help those in need. Also, I want to, before we move on, just give a shout out to the Northwoods crowd here, and especially all the tech guys and everyone behind the scenes that are making this happen. As you can imagine, when things went down, we had to scramble pretty quick, and we needed to get a place set up pretty quickly, and Northwoods opened their doors, and we just want to thank them for that. We wanted to get the message out that dreams can still survive a pandemic, that dreams can still survive in 2020. And there was one guy who was with us just 2 years ago at Love Peoria, a guy called Bob Goff, who is an author and an international speaker. He brought a book out this year called Dream Big. And we thought, could we get Bob again? And we reached out to him and he said, hey, I can't come physically, but I can send a message. So we want you to sit back and relax and listen to Bob Goff.
Hello, Dream Center Peoria. Andy, great to be with you guys. I'm so glad that we have a chance to be together again. I'm Bob Goff. So good to be with you. I love that you're about the business of loving people the way that Jesus did. You know, Paul was talking about his buddy Timothy. He said there's nobody like Timothy. He's a guy who takes a genuine interest in the people around him. And boy, I'm telling you, that's you guys. What you're doing is you're seeing people who are your neighbors and taking what Jesus said seriously. I'm going to love my neighbor. And I'm going to do it not just by thinking about it, but you guys are actually taking it to the streets. That's where it gets really good. That's where it goes from just a set of beliefs to like moving into action. What I want to do is not just think about things like brain candy. I wrote a book this year. It's called Dream Big. And the premise of the book is this. I want you to know what you want, why you want it, and decide what you're going to do about it. So think about that. What do you want? Man, I want all kinds of things, but what do you really, really want? More than the applause, more than the recognition, I think all of us want to feel connected. We want to be part of something bigger than us. If faith guides your steps, you're going to want to do the kinds of things that your faith demands. But ask, why do I want it? Kind of vet that thing. And to say, why do I want it? I remember in junior high school, do you know what I wanted? A date. In the worst way. Didn't happen. I got to high school, I'm like 4 years. Nothing, zero, and that's rounding up. I got to college, 4 more, actually rounded it up to 5. No date. I was in my second year of law school and I met this girl named Maria. And oh, you guys, I was smitten. I was like, yes, you will be mine. But Maria wasn't interested in me. But there was a camp nearby. It was called Oak Bridge. It was owned by an outfit called Young Life. And she was going to go up and take 10 high school girls with her and be the work crew. She would be in charge of this thing. So I found out about that. I got 10 high school guys because I just wanted to get adjacent to her. The first time we were at camp, there was a woman who was elderly and tragically her pacemaker stopped and she face planted in the spaghetti. And I was like, oh my gosh. So we got her on his back. I knew how to do CPR. And for the next 30 minutes, I'm bumping on her and it worked. She lived. And I think Maria thought, this guy is not much to look at, but he could be useful in a crack. And that's where our romance started. Well, fast forward 34 years later, do you know what happened this year? They put the camp up for sale. and I bought it. What a stupid idea, because a week later COVID hit and nobody can be at the camp. We're losing our shirts. But here's the deal. Do you know what's next to the camp? There's a field. And in the field, there's a barn. And next to the field with the barn, there's an old racetrack. And so I thought, horses don't get COVID. And so we got the word out to all the racehorses in the entire Southern California. And we got some really good jockeys. And we've been training these racehorses. You guys, I don't know anything about racehorses. I don't know what end to put the hay in. But what I did is I got adjacent to it. I didn't just look at Sweet Maria from afar. I got adjacent to her. I didn't just look at this field from afar. I made it part of what we were doing. I didn't just glance at that racing track. I said, that could be part of this. That's what you guys are doing. You're taking it to the streets. You're saying, what's adjacent to me? And you know what's adjacent to you? Your neighbors. Created by God. Completely different lifestyle, maybe a completely different background, maybe even a different worldview. But Jesus doesn't care about that stuff. What he cares is us taking care of the people near us. And that's what you're doing. And I think there's something that beautiful that we learn, and we learn these things through authenticity. It isn't just saying be warm and fed. It's actually engaging them, but not just with food, but with you. That's what you bring to this world. You know what you have? 27,373 days. A little bit more on average if you eat broccoli, and a little bit less if you eat Pop-Tarts. You know who you are. But what are you going to do with what you've got? I'm 61. Multiply 365 times 61. Subtract the last 1,000 days because you're just trying to keep this thing together. I don't have a lot of time, and you have a little bit less time than you might think you have too. What I want to do is find out what's adjacent to me, and there's people in need. And that's why taking it to the streets makes so much sense. I've been tracking what you guys have been doing ever since I first met you. You guys are making moves. And there's something beautiful that happens. What I want to do is continue to move closer. Philippians 2:20 is Paul talking about Timothy. He said he's a guy who takes a genuine interest in the people around him. Boy, God bless you for taking a genuine interest in people that have some real live needs that you can go. And I want you to just do more than just invest your money, and invest tons of that, but invest your lives. Start saying that what I want 2020 to be famous for is this is the year I decided to get really authentic with what was going on around me. If you're a little stressed out, man, welcome to the club. Get a puppy. We just need to depressurize this thing a little bit. But also, if your faith guides your steps, to say what I'm going to do is get authentic enough with my needs to start seeing other people's needs. We decided to have 4 or 5 people up, and we've got a bunch of fast race horses that we don't get on, but there's like 3 or 4 like nice horses that we have. You can throw a saddle on them and get on. Well, again, I don't know anything about horses, so all the people that were friends, they all got on the like mellow horses. And so the only one that was left was this great big horse. It's like snorting, smoke out of its nose. And I'm thinking, what could possibly go wrong? So I put the saddle on this thing. I threw a leg over this thing, and that horse took off. It was running 50 miles an hour and bucking while it was doing it. And I launched. Fortunately, it landed right on my head. And I sprung to my feet, and everybody ran over there like, Bob, are you okay? And I sprung up. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Now, I knew I was lying. They knew I was lying. And I thought, wouldn't I just be authentic? Why didn't I say, man, just give me a minute. Let me think what month it is, what my name might be. But I just didn't want to be a buzzkill. I didn't want to be the one that just like bummed everybody out. And I think what happened is I realized in that moment that I have the real way that I'm doing, and then there's the way that I want it to appear that I'm doing. And I think when it comes to my faith, I do the same thing. Maybe you do too. And Paul even said he had the same problem as in Romans 7. He says, I keep doing all the stuff that I don't want to do, and I don't get around to doing the stuff that I do want to do. I'm telling you, Peoria, this is your chance to do the things that you want to do. I teach a class at Pepperdine Law School, and I was driving up in Malibu behind this like a bright red Italian car with the top down, and I looked at the license plate, and the license plate, it said Amish. I'm thinking either backslidden or in a hurry. And it just reminded me of how we just live these conflicted lives. We want to reach out to the poor. We want to make a difference. We want to, like Galatians 5:6 talks about expressing our faith and love, but we just don't get around to it because we're scared and we're freaked out and all the things that are going on. And what I want to do is get a little less distracted by all that thing. I want to say what's actually adjacent to me right now. What can I find a sense of purpose in? And it's going to take some authenticity. You know, a book I'm reading right now, it's Peter Pan. And you'll remember the scene in Peter Pan where he gets separated from his shadow. Peter Pan's chasing it and the shadow's ricocheting off all the walls. And you know who came along? Wendy. And Wendy sat down, got Peter on her right, got the shadow on her left, and started sewing the shadow back to the feet. I'm telling you, that's what you make possible. You make it possible for people to reconnect with a faith, reconnect with some hope that they didn't have by making things available on the streets for people that are in tremendous need. You sit down and you say, let's have an authentic conversation about what you need. And I think what we do is we just need to realize, what do we need? Like, what do you want? It was what Jesus asked every blind guy he met. What do you want? I'm sure the blind guy thought, well, like, obviously, I'm blind. I don't think Jesus was confused. I think he's asking me and he's asking you, what do you want to be remembered for? I want to be remembered for my generosity. I want to be remembered for a guy that engaged the people around us, that found the people adjacent to us. I want to be engaged with the people around us, the people that are adjacent to us. I want to find ways to connect with them in a way they haven't been connected with before. That's what I want more than anything, and I think you do too. And I think what we do is we do that by opening up our hands. I've learned a thing or two about how you feed a horse too. Well, what I've learned is when you put the food on your hand, you need to leave your fingers really flat. Because if you get a little scared and you want to curl your fingers, they bite your fingers off. You'll only be able to count to 7.5. And so I want to engage my faith. I want to engage my community in the same way. I want to engage them with very open, outstretched hands. Hands that say, man, what do you need? And what do I have? My career as a trial lawyer got ruined. It was about 20 years ago, and I was in India. We were finding slaves that had slave owners. We snuck them out in the middle of the night, and we recorded their names. We recorded their circumstances and what got them into this really dark place. And then we would set up raids to get them the next day. Well, we were in a little hut that was kind of a makeshift church, but it didn't have all the trappings of religion. It was just a place where it was just evident that God was there. And in the front of this church, there were 2 jars. Each of the jars was about half full of rice. And I asked the guy kind of in charge, I said, tell me about those jars. And he said, you know what? One of the jars is if you have a need, then you can grab a handful of food. Oh, 1 handful of rice would get a family through a day. And if you had extra rice, the other jar was for you to put a handful of rice back in. I'm telling you, there are 2 jars, Peoria. There are 2 jars where we get an opportunity to say, this is what I actually need. And another jar to say, this is what I have to give. And you know, if you're like me, what you need is love, purpose, acceptance, and a couple authentic relationships. And I want to work on that a little bit. I want to be able to say, man, I got thrown off. I really got my bell rung by what happened in 2021. I'm not punching out of this thing, but I got my bell rung. How about you? And if what we can do is have those kind of authentic conversations where we're actually known, then we have something to give to the people around us. What we don't realize is the incredible value of the people that you have. When I first got this space of land and a barn, an elderly woman, she called me up and she said, I heard you have some pastures and a barn, and I've got an old racehorse. It's actually not so old. It's about 2 or 3 years, and you can have it if you want. So I'm like, yes. So she dropped off the horse. It's brown. It has a black tail. And it's time now to think about making baby horses. And without getting into a lot of detail, it's time for this horse to have a special hug from another horse. And then later, baby horses arrive. Well, I got out the pedigree of this horse. And do you know what this horse is? This is the great-great-granddaughter of Secretariat. I am not kidding you. She didn't say, this is like when she said racehorse, she didn't say like really famous racehorse. And I just think that heaven is leaning over the rails, just seeing the people that you're going to impact with your generosity by actually engaging them because God sees their tremendous values. The things that I don't see, sometimes some off-putting behavior, sometimes some circumstances that are ones that make me feel a little uncomfortable. But knowing that God sees it, He knows who we've been, He knows who we are, and He knows who we're turning into. But here's the crazy part. The angels don't. The angels only know whatever God tells them. You remember how it goes, that the angel got told by God, tell Joseph he's going to be a dad. Oh, tell Mary she's in for a really, really big surprise. I want you to picture the whole heavenly host leaning over the rails. And what you're doing is Hebrews talks about you're entertaining angels. But instead of doing that unaware, you're actually aware. I think every time we reach out and touch somebody, we do something generous or compassionate for a person in need. What we're doing is we're doing it for Jesus. Don't trust me. Flip to Matthew 25. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty. You gave me something to drink. I was sick and you comforted me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was in jail and you came. That's what it is. Hungry people, thirsty people, sick people, strange people, naked people, and people in jail. I don't only teach at Pepperdine Law School. I also teach at San Quentin Penitentiary. I've got 150 felons in my class, and man, I don't teach them anything. I go to learn. One young man named Kevin called me up just a little while ago. He's been in San Quentin since he was turned an adult age. He's been in San Quentin for 20 years. And Kevin called me up and he said, Bob, I'm on the other side of the wall. I'm like, oh my gosh, tell me there is not a bunch of bed seats tied together. What happened? Kevin got released. He'd never even held a cell phone before. And I asked Kevin, buddy, what are you thinking about right now? And he paused for a second and he said, I've got pockets. I'm like, what the heck? I was thinking he was going to say something a little bit more Hemingway-esque. And you know what? In a moment of clarity, I told him, be really careful what you put in them. The reason you can't have pockets in San Quentin is you put the wrong stuff in them. I want me and you to be really careful what we put in our pockets, what we accumulate. I want to put in there the kinds of things that Jesus talked about generosity, about empathy. I want to fill them with authenticity. And when we do that, we're doing the kinds of stuff that make the heavens just bump each other's wings. Did you see what Billy's doing? Have you seen the way Sally is connecting with these people that I made in God's image? Maybe appear a little rough around the edges, but you do too. And there's something beautiful. What we need to do is just get authentic and real. We walked through the yard at San Quentin, and this is where people are pumping iron and getting ripped. And they have arms, the size of my torso. And I was laughing with one of the guys that was with me that, man, if I put one of these bars on my chest to bench press as much as they are, the only thing I'd get off my chest is the bar. Well, we sat together in a circle. And I said, what is it that you need to get off your chest? In a moment of authenticity, what is it that you can just open up with and say, this is what we're trying to create for people that encounter your generosity? And one guy said, I feel estranged from my wife and my family. I've been in here for 20 years. He had 80 more years to go. And he just got that off his chest. Somebody else was talking about a victim of a crime that he had committed and how badly he felt about what he had done. And as we went around to the 12th or 13th guy, the guy next to me said, I'm sentenced to 108 years in prison. I've been in here for 25. And for all 25, I've been telling everybody I didn't do it. I got framed. And he took a deep breath and he said, I did it. And I'll tell you, in that moment, he was the freest guy I've ever met. Something about authenticity, it frees us up. And so if you're scared during this period of time where all kinds of crazy stuff's happening, man, get authentic. Find a person who's really safe. Be a person who's really safe. Have somebody, meet you at Starbucks. Make them pay. And just say, let's do 3 minutes of authenticity. What does it feel like to be you? Have them draw a picture of what it looks like to be you right now. And then turn the tables and say, what does it look like to be you? And there's something beautiful, 3 minutes at a time. If we could do that, expressing a genuine interest in the people around us, I'm telling you, it's like people will meet Jesus. And this is what you make possible. When you're taking this beautiful message, all your creativity into the streets, I'm telling you, you're making Peoria famous. And you're not just doing that, you're making Jesus famous. People are going to see you and feel like they saw him. And that's what we're here to do. I don't know how many days I have left. I hope plenty. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my days with open hands. I'm just going to resist the temptation to curl my fingers back and hold it back. I'm going to be authentic with the people around me. Man, if I'm scared, I'm going to let you know I'm scared. I'm going to be authentic and take an interest in the people around me. And if they say they have to get something off their chest, if there's something I need to get off my chest, if I say like I'm scared to be generous because I'm afraid there won't be enough, boy, I'm telling you, what a great place to be with Jesus, to just say, you know what, I'm going to do something not just safe anymore and not just bold. I'm going to do something a little risky because it will light the fuse in your faith when you do. You know that's true because you've done some risky things before. I'm telling you, quit playing it safe. I'm going to tell you one last thing and then I'll land the plane. We have a dock behind our house here in San Diego and the little minnows on the top were losing their minds. They were jumping, and I figured it out. There was a big fish underneath them. And that big fish was scaring them shallow. I'm telling you, we don't want to play scared anymore. I'm not doing it. I don't want you to do it anymore. I don't want the things around us to scare us shallow when it comes to our faith, when it comes to loving the people that Jesus did the way that he did. And I'm counting on you as you guys take it to the streets. I love you guys. I respect you guys. I'm with you guys. Just go love people and to do it with palms up. All right, you guys. So long.
Well, thank you, Bob. Yeah, give it up. What an honor to be able to have him back and speak some life into our dreams. I hope that awakens something in you. I find myself sitting up a little straighter, maybe leaning in. I love that thought of man, it's time to make big moves, of literally entertaining angels with these moves of faith, stepping into dreams at a time when it does not make sense to make big moves. But all of heaven is looking down at what you're doing in big ways, in small ways. And man, that last image of are we being scared into shallow water by a big fish? So it's time to shake that off. So I hope you're encouraged, and I hope you're sitting up a little straighter and a little more excited to step into something. I want to explain why the paper airplanes. You might be wondering why we got one up here and why they're on the table. Here it is. Every one of these airplanes has a dream of one of our Dream Center students or one of the kids living in our shelter or the families living in the shelter. And what we are here to do is right, not only inspire you to step into your dreams, but to literally rally around the dreams of these kids. You're going to get a chance to launch your own dreams in a little bit, but I want to give you a chance to rally around the dreams of the kids and the families living at Dream Center. I am so encouraged by the fact that before Bob spoke, over $10,000 has already been donated online, so keep that going. But before you come alongside and make a decision of, are you going to volunteer, or can you donate, or maybe can you help spread the word, can I just share a couple of these dreams with you? And I've been able to spend the last couple weeks hearing the dreams of a lot of our kids. And some things that have really jumped out at me is number one, our kids are still dreaming. And I hope you are encouraged by that fact, that despite what is going on, kids are still dreaming. The second thing I was so encouraged by is how identical their dreams are to mine. That really, more than ever, we are in the same spot. We are all so similar. So a couple of the dreams, these are the kind of things that you're coming around today. If you missed the 10-day campaign leading up to Dream Center, it was a lot of fun. They're simple dreams. I want to have a nice Christmas. I want to have a nice Halloween. So looking forward to what's coming up. We had a lot of aspirations on what they want to be, doctors and engineers and mechanics. And it was fun to see some of these young kids, one kid that said they want to be a mechanic, and they're actually in our mechanic program at middle school. So they're already starting to walk it out. This is from one gal who, man, she's been with us for a good 9 years. And she said when she was younger, her dream was always to be an artist. Someone who takes the world head on with their talents. And awesome to know her enough to know that she's walking that out. She's an example of, man, people came around her dreams, and now she's dreaming bigger dreams. It's just really cool stuff. Another dream, that one's for me to launch. That's my dream. I gotta write on that one. Oh, this one is from a relatively new young girl, 3-year-old girl who lives in our shelter. She's 5 years old. She's only been in the shelter for a couple days, so brand new. And her dream is to fly in an airplane. And the other thing I was thinking about is how simple these dreams are and how we can make them happen. I don't know if we've got any pilots out there right now. If anybody would be willing to make this dream come true, man, put that in a chat or write that on your donation card that, hey, flying a girl and her family, I can make that happen. Because the other thing I noticed as I was thinking about dreams is how they snowball, right? What happens when a simple dream of yours, of mine, comes true? We start to dream again and dream bigger. And we dream bigger and bigger. And pretty soon that forms into purpose. So let's make some of these dreams happen. And that's literally what Dream Center does. The last one I'll read is from a young man who, he's actually not a volunteer, he's on staff. And it's been cool to see his dream progress. But it's an example of a dream that we still have some work to do. His dream literally was to tumble. As a young boy, he loved doing somersaults and tumbling. And in particular, his dream was to teach others. So the good news is he's actually a teacher today. He's giving back to the kids in after school, but that dream of tumbling is still his. So another call out, if anybody out there does gymnastics, man, write that on your volunteer card. Let's make some of these dreams come true. So that definitely jumped out at me, is how powerful it is when our dreams start to come true, how we dream bigger. And so I want to invite you to come become part of this right now, to rally around kids in poverty. And so there's 3 ways you can give. People have already started to doing it, but you can go online right now to dreamcenterpeoria.org/give. You can fill out a pledge card. If you are at a site, one of our 50 sites, you can fill these out right now. Northwoods, you can do the same. We'll collect them right now. So take a moment if you want to be part of this. Or third, you can mail in a check or a payment later. So if you guys would take a moment and decide, do you want to come alongside a dream financially? Maybe it's a monthly gift. Maybe it's a one-time gift. Truly, whatever you feel you want to do and can do, let me tell you that it adds up. The story of the Dream Center is when small groups of people, small gifts, and massive gifts come together, we are able to meet any need that comes our way. So you would be part of it. Also, as you consider that, there's a couple other ways that you can come alongside the dream of other people. You can also volunteer. And so if you go to dreamcenterpeoria.org/dream2020, you'll see a volunteer tab. Or you can circle volunteer on this card. I've got some really good news. You might not be in a spot to donate today, but we've got an anonymous donor who has said, hey, COVID is as good a time as any to volunteer in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's from a distance, maybe it's up close. And so he's going to donate $250 for everybody that just signs up to volunteer. We're going to go by faith, trusting that you'll act on that. So if you want to volunteer tonight, not only is that going to make a difference, but a $250 gift is going to be made on your behalf. So go to dreamcenterpeoria.org/ Dream 2020 and volunteer. The last thing you can do is share with a couple other people what you heard today and host a virtual tour. You can circle that on here or you can write that online and we'll bring you and your group through and show you what's going on. You can obviously also share by sharing this website with your friends tonight. So those are some of the ways, Peoria. Let's check in on our online giving. I was really encouraged. Yeah, $10,000 has come in already so far. I know we've got to hit refresh, and every time we hit refresh, that total will populate. So Peoria, if you would take a moment right now and make a decision. Do you want to come alongside one of these dreams in whatever way you can?
Brian, I want to stop you there because I know we've been looking at all these different dreams, but I actually have a dream here that is mine that I've actually had for about 2 years. And back in February, I really started wrestling with how do I take this dream, which is taking what we do at the Dream Center, at a building, and actually go into the streets and do things on the streets. How do we bring dignity, compassion, and purpose to people? Not just wait for them to come to us. And so back in February, I shared this with our board and said, I want to take the Dream Center more mobile, more into the streets. And so tonight, we are going to launch DCP Mobile. This is going to be a brand new division of Dream Center. Back in February, before COVID, we said, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to take what we're doing and take it mobile into the streets. And what does that look like? Well, COVID hit and we realized that it looked a lot different even than in February. I don't know if you know this, but when COVID hit, a lot of the restrooms, public restrooms, and places where people would shower closed. And so there were places throughout the city where there were men and women who couldn't get to shelters or perhaps couldn't get into shelters. They were left to, some were going in the Illinois River to bathe. Some were just going weeks without bathing. And so as COVID hit, it became a reality to us. And so we started talking with Zion, the coffee shop downtown. They see a lot of these guys. And I had this dream, and I had told them what we had decided in February, that we wanted to do something mobile. And they said, well, could we speed it up a bit? Could we help? And I said, well, yeah. I said, I really want a shower truck. And but it's a lot of money. It's $50,000. Well, an anonymous donor came to us and said, hey, we'll give you $20,000 to the $50,000 for the truck, which is amazing, but we still had a lot more to go. So Zion said, we'll help a little bit. We'll do a GoFundMe, and perhaps we'll get $5,000 or something like that. They were able to raise over $17,000. And so at that point, we started to think, okay, I feel it's now time that we could really put wheels to this, and we could really start to see this shower truck come to be. And so every Wednesday night, we were showering people at the Dream Center, guys that normally can't get into different shelters because of their backgrounds, because of things that have happened in the past. This money then came in, and we said, we're going to step out in faith. And so tonight, we have already purchased the shower truck. It's one of 4 vehicles that we are going to do. This is going to have, and it has 4 showers and bathrooms in the actual unit. And so we will be able to now go into different areas of the city, whether there's COVID or not, and be able to minister to not just the homeless, but to families in need, to kids in need. We've heard from District 150 teachers saying there are kids in their school that don't have showers every other day or every 3 days. It's like a week or so. And we felt we could help with that. So this isn't just for the homeless. This is just for families in need. And so I mentioned that there is 4 vehicles. The shower unit that we've already got, we stepped out in faith and we've been able to purchase that. We also are going to plan on getting a laundry truck. So our aim is to have 6 to 8 washers and dryers on wheels that we could take into certain areas of the city. Also, what we want to do is get a hot food truck. Now, this is where this all gets exciting. This hot food truck, we wanted to be able to do soups, pizzas, tacos, or whatever you call it in America. We want to be able to do all these different foods right in the neighborhoods where there are people that may just need a hot meal. We mentioned this to St. Mark's Church in Washington, which have been a church that have been involved with us for the last 2 or 3 years. This year, they bought us a brand new school bus. Now, when I say brand new, it wasn't like a 2021, but this bus had only 30,000 miles on it. So you know that's like having a new school bus. In fact, we've called it Night Rider because it looks like this limousine. The kids all think they're being picked up in a limousine. St. Mark's in Washington took care of that for us. And we told them about the food truck, and they said, Andy, don't worry about that. We're going to let our people know about it, and we will raise $25,000 for the food truck. So in the next few months, we're going to be purchasing that food truck. And so tonight, I thought I was actually going to be coming and just telling you what we wanted to do from February in the board meeting. Tonight, we were just going to launch what we wanted to do. But in fact, we've already got the shower truck. We've got the food truck coming. And then something happened a week ago that just blew my mind. As you know, we minister to so many at the Dream Center, and one of the things that we do is we have a barber shop or a hair salon at the Dream Center. And one of the thoughts that I had in this dream was, could we have a mobile barber shop that would go into areas of the city and be able to give the homeless and low-income families haircuts? So I met with a couple of ladies from Connect Church, Jessica and Katie, who are part of Monate Global. Monate is a hair and skin care product line, and they're a global organization, a global business. And I shared with them this passion to have this mobile hair salon. And so I shared it with them, and then about a week later, I get this call from Jessica saying, hey, can we go on a Zoom call with someone from our head office? And I said, yeah, sure. So I'm there, and looking back on it, they set me up because they knew what they were going to tell me, but I shared our heart again for having a mobile hair salon. And they turned to us and said, well, Andy, we want to take care of that. Over the next 6 months, they are going to give us $5,000 each month, $30,000, to be able to go and purchase a mobile hair salon barber shop so that we can go into areas of the city. Last week, they presented us with this check. It just blew me away. Not that we haven't, we've seen God move so many times at the Dream Center in many different ways. But in the midst of COVID, I'm like, God, I don't know if people want to give to this. I don't know if people want to get involved with this mobile thing. But the aim is to bring the Dream Center services to areas of the city. We will be able to create an area where there will be showers, there will be laundry, there will be a food truck, and now there'll be a hair salon. So why am I mentioning this to you tonight? We've still got to get the laundry truck, okay? So you may be sitting there going, well, I want to help with that tonight. I've already wrote down what I want to give on my card or online, but you want to go a little bit above and beyond. Help us with that. That is going to cost a little more, probably $30,000 to $40,000 for that because of all the plumbing and everything involved. But it's not just about the vehicles. We are now going to be able to go mobile into areas, and an army of volunteers will be able to come with us. And whilst people are waiting for a shower, or while people are waiting for their laundry to be done, or while people are eating a meal, you can get one-on-one with people. Once you build relationship, once you start getting to know the people that you're with in those circumstances, you then start to realize that they're people. They're not problems, they're not a menace, they're people. People that Jesus died for. And so we have that opportunity to be able to do that. So tonight, even with this challenge of volunteering, you may be a hairstylist out there that feel, hey, I could give an hour a week or 2 hours a week. You may be someone that says, hey, I'll just go and help someone do laundry, or I'll go in on the food truck and help cook some of the food, or it may be any of the other programs that we have at the Dream Center that you can get involved in. We are so excited about this dream that is going to be launched tonight. This is the first time that we as the Dream Center have shared this publicly. The DCP Mobile is more than laundry, more than showers, more than food, and even more than a haircut. This is about connecting with people right on the streets to make a difference. So we're praying that hits something with you tonight and that you will get involved.
Wow. What an opportunity to come alongside something. And I love that progression of the dreams. I'll share this as you guys are filling out your cards. We just got a couple minutes left. So if you want to come alongside a dream, sign up to be a donor, a volunteer, host a tour, and turn these in tonight at all your sites. Sites, we're collecting these tonight. Some of you have volunteers. You can give this to the Dream Center volunteer and they'll take them back. Other sites, you can drop them in an envelope and mail it back to us. So please fill that out. But again, it's so cool to see how dreams snowball. Time and time again at Dream Center, the history is that we step into a little need, and then the confidence forms to step into a bigger one, and all to the point now where we're literally launching out of the walls and going anywhere where people are. So let's rally around dreams and let's see where they snowball to. Yeah, just awesome. And a reminder as well that if you volunteer for DCP Mobile, if you sign up to do that tonight, somebody's going to donate $250 because of that. So please go online and do it. I've gotten some texts in. One of our sites is actually matching any gifts. I won't call them out. I assume that the hosts are maybe saying that, but they're matching gifts at their site. I've gotten a text from another site saying they've raised $10,000 so far. So I am super energized by what's happened, and we believe that is all going to work out, and we get what we need. So. All right, hey, this is probably the time I'm most looking forward to. I'm trusting that the money's going to come.
He's been talking about this bit all day.
This is the good part. Yeah, this is about you guys, right? This is about us stepping into, setting aside the weight of 2020, and let us make moves, Peoria. Let's be known as move-making people, right? And so at all your sites, you have paper. I want you to quickly fold. Let's see how quick you can fold at your sites. Fold up a piece of paper into an airplane. And I want you to also at sites to write down, maybe it's best that you're doing this quickly. Write down the first thing that comes to your mind. What is a dream that you could, if you had a little more courage maybe, if you were a little bold, what is a dream that you could step into tonight? Because we are about to launch them. All 1,200 of us are going to launch our dreams. In Peoria, we are going to make some moves. So take a moment, sites, finish this card, but pick up your dream right now and write that dream on there. What could you step into if you were bold tonight? Let's write it on, fold it, and at the sites, you're going to launch it. So do that quickly. Do that quickly. And what I am so excited about is the conversations that happen after. So if you're ready now, if you're ready, let's launch our dreams. Northwoods, we're all set. These guys are pumped, and we're gonna make some moves. So let's stand up. Sites, you guys stand up as well. This requires all of us. We don't launch dreams half-heartedly. And I love what Bob Goff says in his book that, man, don't make a dream more complicated than it needs to be. It's as simple as making a paper airplane and throwing it. So let's keep it simple and let's be bold, guys. On the count of 3, let's launch our dreams, all right? Ready? 1, 2, and 3. All right, I love it, I love it. Sites, if you haven't done that yet, man, please do your own launch party in our homes, in our businesses. Let's have a launch party tonight. And then, man, pick up somebody else's dream and find out who it is. and let's speak some life into these things. Let's find out what people are thinking. We are so honored that you guys joined us tonight. I am so excited to hear about what happened as a result. Please send us some chats. And again, if you can think of anybody who needs the inspiration from tonight, share it. We got 24 hours to watch, and then the moment's passed. So God bless you guys, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here at Northwoods and everyone at the sites. We'll see you next year or at the Dream Center volunteering. Thank you again.
Small town, too hot. I'm going for a trip. A place where dreams are made like comic strips. I see colors and planes, laser guns and champagne. I feel strong and smart, ready for a new start. It got me too. And I know it's surprising what we can do. I can hardly believe it. What it makes me do. And I know it's surprising what we can do. I can hardly believe it. So let's go get everything we've been dreaming. All the things we've been missing. Now my blood is gone, and my face is drawn. 7 legs on top, and my heart just popped.